Hi guys, how y'all doing? This is D. Darrell Spears. I am sitting here chilling on a beautiful Houston day. Just had my breakfast, so my little power breakfast, so I'm definitely up and running today. Today I'm going to talk about a hot topic. I don't typically like to talk about hot topics. I like to just talk about whatever comes to mind for me. But because this is somewhat relative to clients that I have in my practice, people who make bad decisions as it involves relationships, as it involves their career, I'm going to talk to you about a therapist's approach to treating someone who has gotten involved in situations such as Udoka. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Now, I'm going to touch a lot more on these type of situations and issues when I go full-fledged and I establish my Coach D. Darrell Spears TV channel. And I will talk a lot about relationships. I'm going to talk a lot about dating. I'm going to talk about love. I'm going to talk about the engagement period. I'm going to talk about things of that, the dating period, the engagement, getting to know period, all of those different stages, which is, to me, to each his own. And so people are saying, and I'm going to say some things today that some people may not agree with, but I'm just going to be frank about it. Looking at it from a therapeutic standpoint, therapist perspective. Not that I'm trying to vouch to do relationship counseling for Udoka and Nia Long. So the question I have to ask to everybody who's doing content, do you know the parameters of their relationship? Why are we not assuming that Nia Long potentially could have cheated on him? Could we conceive that maybe they have an open relationship? Can anybody tell me, if they know, what's the foundation of their relationship? They're supposed to be getting married or engaged. But come on. What do you know about this? Nobody knows. So everybody is prognosticating what's the viability of their relationship. Ime Udoka made horrible professional decisions, which to me, these, as Stephen A. stated, this was consensual. This had no business getting out the way it did. But you know why it got out? Excuse me. But you know why this was released? It was released for a distraction because of Brett Favre foolishness. But I'm not going to get on that. D. Darrell Spears is not going to focus on that. What I'm going to focus on is the illusion that people drown themselves in about relationships that they know very little about. So from my perspective, professional perspective, I don't know the fundamental, I don't know anything fundamentally what's fundamental about their relationship. As far as how it operates, their expectations of itself. All I know is that they've dated. They've been together for a while. We don't know if they have a strong foundation. We don't know if they've had issues. We don't even know if they're separated or took a break from each other. We don't know if they swing. We don't know any of these things. But everybody like, how could you cheat on Nia Long? Why not? Nia Long is no different from any other beautiful woman or woman that's not beautiful, average, that has been cheated on. There are women who cheat on Rich men, successful men. Jada cheated on Will. I didn't hear people saying, how could you cheat on Will Smith? Jada? And let's be honest, Jada's nowhere near has the popularity and success as Will Smith. And that's just a fact. It's just a fact. The biggest mistake as it evolves the assessment of this relationship is that we don't know all the answers. We don't know the fundamental aspects of the relationship. There's a lot of things we don't know. I haven't heard anything in Nia Long responding to this because Nia Long is a professional in her, and she is in the entertainment business. You think Nia Long hadn't been cheated on before in a relationship? Come on, Nia Long is what, in her late 40s, maybe early 50s? And she's not even married. So you think it's a reason she's not married? I had this discussion with a person about a lot of beautiful women who have a hard time keeping women. Halle Berry been cheated on. Horrible relationships. Come on. Beyonce been cheated on. Beautiful women and successful men that are deemed attractive by women, they get cheated on. Everybody can get cheated on. That's part of the risk of a relationship. So for Ime Udoka, I think there's a state of reflection for him. Not so much about his relationship. I don't think Ime Udoka cares that much about that relationship with Nia Long. I'm not saying he cares, but he's caring about what my future is going to be like, either in the NBA. I'm not going to get paid for a year. The guy played NBA ball. He has money. This man is not starving for anything. He was a former NBA player turned coach. He got money in the bank, and he got plenty of women at his disposal. Now, should he have danced around and played around in his workplace? No. But there are several NBA players who stated. They have stated, I know situations like this all the time. They've even stated that there were therapists who were treating the players. They're even having sex with the players. That was the NBA player that said that there's executives, owners, players, all have engaged in unprofessional, even people in a position of power over the person that they were engaging in, both men and women, engaged in sexual relationships. Some were reprimanded, some were fired. It didn't blow up into all of this. But the real reason is that, I'm not going to say Mr. Stevenson is jealous of Ime Udoka because he did something you couldn't do, and then he was screwing your wife, allegedly. This is all the workings. This is me giving my position on this. I'm only speculating. I have no idea if this is true or not. This is all Brad Stevenson's because he is upset that number one, Ime Udoka was more successful than him because he had a lackluster career, underachieved, and at the same time, you're going to add to injury, you screwing my wife? This is the doing of Brad Stevenson. For Ime Udoka could be depressed right now. Ime Udoka can suffer a great deal of anxiety going out in public, people looking at him funny, saying things, talking under their breath. Nobody's treating him like a regular human being, but you're not a regular human being. You are the Boston Celtics coach that went to the NBA Finals. He's soul searching. He could be confused. I don't know his mental state. I'm only speculating. for someone to go through this great deal of stress. Ime Udoka needs therapy for this, because it doesn't stop here. This will be a year-long plus affair. And we haven't, as more information comes out, the worse and worse it may be for him to cope and deal with. Imagine going to a hostile work environment, even though you're suspended, but you're still connected to the team. I would encourage him to just quit and move forward. But he's not going to quit. He wants them to fire, because with being fired, he gets his guaranteed money and other benefits that may come along with it. I get it. You're looking at it from a financial standpoint. So he's going to wait this out, and he's going to take whatever comes with it, because he wants his money and whatever guarantees come with that contract when you're fired. He wants to be fired. I personally think he wants to be fired, and I personally think he's going to wait till they fire him. I'm going to encourage, if I knew him, to take a vacation, clear your mind, you did nothing wrong from my perspective as far as it's not, to me, this is not about your relationships. This is about your professional career as a coach, if that's what your passion is. I would be focusing on that first and the relationship issues second, because from my perspective, I don't know what the parameters of how they operate, what they choose, how they choose to interact as far as this, as far as their relationship or being partners. We don't know. He's focusing, I would suggest focusing more on the viability of your career after this is over with. Get your money. The women are going to be there regardless. You think that Nia Long is the only actor that he had sex with? No, he's not. You think there are women that are more beautiful, that he hadn't had sex with women more beautiful than, and let's be honest, Nia Long's reputation in Hollywood and entertainment is not that great as far as her personality and how she engages with others. So that could be many reasons of what he may have experienced. So let's not get it twisted with that. Not that I'm trying to say that she's at fault, but we don't know the inner workings of that relationship. We don't know the history. They could have been cheating on each other. There could have been ongoing issues. Things could have been perfect. She could be distraught right now, pissed off at him, mad at the world. She has to deal with this shit. But what I can say is this is the most I've heard Nia Long's name in years. Particularly with her not being the person acting ugly or doing something negative in the process. I'm just spitting the facts. So Ime Udoka, he has a lot to deal with. He has a lot of talking, which I'm pretty sure that they're probably not wanting him to talk. But the more and more information comes out, it will give me a clearer and clearer perspective. Now, people talking about, the lady that was Stephen A. went at and so forth, and, the red pill community is, he's showing. Man, listen, let me tell you something in regards to that. She's doing her job. She's doing what she has to do for her show. Her show doesn't get that many views or viewership, so she has to say and do these things. Stephen A. is solidified in that arena. So I'm not worried about that. You got Shaq giving pitiful accounts of him being actually probably far more worse than Ime Udoka, and trying to say what he missed out on. Let me say this about Shaq. Shaq and any other NBA player, if you had to do it all over again, you would have made the same mistakes. Ime Udoka would have made the same mistakes. Most NBA players were going to make the same mistakes, because you're put on a pedestal and you're wanted by everybody, and you think you got to pick and choose the best women, the most sexiest, sought after women on earth want you. Men, 9 times out of 10, are going to act and function based on the options they have. As long as men have a lot of options, they're going to make bad choices. And I'm even saying this about myself too. Now you have to alleviate and practice, like some people are talking about, you have to practice de-discipline. Yeah, you can practice de-discipline to a certain extent. And some men, there's a great deal of men who do practice it, but most don't. And if you got 9s and 10s, I ain't even saying 8s, 9s and 10s at your disposal, it puts that de-discipline to test. So I'm just giving my perspective on this, my analysis as far as Udoka. I do believe that he should seek some therapy. Short-term therapy. I don't think he needs long-term therapy unless there's some other extenuating circumstances mentally and in his functioning that have not been brought up. If he chooses to rehab his relationship, if there are any real issues with that, then they may need some longer-term interactions as far as relationship therapy, premarital therapy, whatever they choose to take their relationship. But let's not demonize a man for having consensual relationships with women, because this happens all the time, and it happens to men who are at a higher level than the coach, talking GMs, VP, vice presidents, and owners. This happens all the time. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. So, Udoka, I'm gonna say, brother, keep your head up, move forward. Whatever negative things that come out, leave your life, or the people who decide not to interact with you because of this, that's a learning experience. If the relationship works or if it doesn't work, you have to hold accountability for that, because you did engage in things that caused that to happen. But to demonize this brother as the worst in the world and things like that, this is all a distraction because of Brett Favre. Facts. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream today. I just wanted to talk about it and give my perspective. This is D. Darrell Spears. Y'all have a great day. Peace.